2021 to you casuals will be the year No Way Home came out and the year Kevin Feige entered the MCU into the TV realm and screamed, "Are you not entertained?" But we'll get to those in a second. First, the greatest show of all time had a season come out this year. So I grew up a Catholic, right? And one of the things they taught you is to spread the word of the Lord. And I had a hard time doing that because I didn't really believe it. But call me a Jaegerist, a Zekist, a Mikasaist, whatever you want, because I believe in Attack on Titan. And if you leave this earth with having the opportunity to watch this show and then don't, then you wasted your life, bro. WandaVision was monumental. It was the MCU's official arrival into TV, and boy did they come out with a bang. The week-to-week theorizing felt like the only thing anybody talked about throughout the course of the show. Wanda stance exponentially grew and gave the MCU its first female hero with rabid fans that before only belonged to male heroes like Steve, Tony, and Peter. The show was also just filled with so many awesome moments. Wanda going Magneto mode, Vision and Wanda's domestic fight. It was Agatha all along. This shot of Elizabeth Olsen, Vishon, the emergence of the Scarlet Witch, and of course...
You are familiar with the thought experiment, the ship of Theseus in the field of identity metaphysics.
Are you guys familiar with the idea that racism is bad? Because if you're not, Young Justice will make sure they beat you over the head with the idea that racism is bad through a very lazy metaphor of a Martian civil war, whilst at the same time not giving you the stories with the characters that you're here to see, that they have put in the fucking intro. On a more positive note, Judas and the Black Messiah explored racism in a very interesting perspective by showing how when racists are in a position of power, they not only create divisions that didn't exist between races, but also communities and homies.
Okay, let's go.
HBO Max paid a few $1 million to Zack Snyder and the French cast so they could jack themselves off for a few hours and call it a reunion show or a Snyder cut, you know, just because it's an easy way to grab some subscribers. Godzilla vs. Kong and Fast and Furious 9 came out, and surprisingly, the one with the giant lizard was the better mindless popcorn action flick.
We are the city of progress, and our future is bright.
We're gonna look back at 2021 as a pivotal moment in the history of adult Western animation, because we got 5 straight bangers this year. Invincible, CastleVania, Batman The Long Halloween, Marvel's What If, and most of all Arcane showed us that Western adult animation can become popular with the mainstream, and that sometimes it's the preferred medium for certain stories. I cannot imagine the stories of Invincible and Arcane being done justice in live action. With all that being said, Adam Smith's Masters of the Universe revelations may have put Western adult animation back a few decades. Falcon and the Winter Soldier beautifully explored themes of self-worth, race, perception, representation, and belonging, had some awesome action sequences, and showcased the power of a good old-fashioned monologue to end the show strong.
The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
Also, it's crazy that this shot was in a Disney show. Emma Stone proved she's still the GOAT with the best live-action Disney villain to date in Cruella. Jake Gyllenhaal proved why he's still the GOAT with an all-time performance filmed in one location during the pandemic in his Netflix movie The Guilty. And Will Smith called dibs on this year's Best Actor Oscar award with his performance in King Richard.
Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Dune released a 2-hour trailer for the sequel. Dave Bautista spent most of the year talking shit to Marvel, only to come out with a mid-ass performance in Army of the Dead. Chris Pratt, before he goes on to voice Shadow the Hedgehog, Garfield, Bugs Bunny, and Mario next year, came out with the definition of a mid-movie with the Tomorrow War.
What would be the right musical to take on?
In the Heights vs. West Side Story was supposed to be this clash of two great musicals, the old generation versus the new, but instead both felt dated, unnecessary, and got schooled by Sing 2. I'm too scared to watch a lot of horror movies, but I did give Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It a shot, and it was really good. I think why it worked is because you were invested in the detective story so much that you didn't even see most of the jump scares coming. Dave Season 2 was fun, but ultimately was nowhere near the same level as Season 1. The ending of Season 1 still holds up as one of the best endings ever to a show's first season.
Wait, how you doing? I'm good, great. And if you see me up on the street, say hi, LD, and I'll stop you and say, whoa, my name is... What's your name?
Ugh, that was disgusting.
The Black Widow movie introduced Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, and Ted Lasso continues to carry Apple TV, and continues to be the exact show we've needed during this pandemic.
They do to my boy AD.
Space Jam ended 2 debates in one movie. First, Michael Jordan will always be better than LeBron, and secondly, Disney handles its franchises better than Warner Brothers.
What the shit?
Free Guy was probably the most underrated movie of this year, and it's definitely better than Matrix: The Reza Snorefest. Alright, I'm gonna say it. I like David Ayer's Suicide Squad more than James Gunn's. There just wasn't a scene that's even on the same level of entertainment as the Deadshot audition scene from the first movie. Also, this year's Suicide Squad and The Eternals makes a great case for why maybe sometimes studios should interfere a bit more. Shang-Chi, Last Night in Soho, No Time to Die, Encanto, House of Gucci. The first 3 quarters of all these movies were phenomenal, but they all also kind of fumbled and missed the mark in the 4th quarter. But I also can't be too mad at House of Gucci because it did get me roadhead on the way home. I started Squid Game thinking it was a movie on a Wednesday night when I had work the next morning at 8:30 a.m. But it was so good I stayed up all night binging it. Army of Thieves on the other hand took me 5 days to finish. Some Transformers who didn't watch the whole thing got mad at Dave Chappelle's new special. And Raya the Last Dragon was the annual The Power of Friendship movie.
Alright. A bad memory prison? How quaint.
I believe that there is nothing more cinematic or more entertaining in film or TV than when creators set up something so ambitious and stick the landing perfectly. And we got 2 masterclass examples of that this year with Spider-Man No Way Home and Loki.
I paved the road. You just walked down it.
I just want to end with Jonathan Majors. They say great acting is when you can't even tell it's acting. I say, like a great painting, every scene Jonathan Majors is in stands out because they're all strokes of genius.
I'm Peter Parker.
That's not possible.
I am Spider-Man.